Rev up your engines! All right, finally I got my hands on a Tesla. Real guy bought it with all the incentives. He paid $43,000. It's kind of a funny story because he's young and he had bad credit, and his previous car was a Sonata. With his bad credit stuff, it cost him 60 grand. So this was a lot cheaper than his previous car. And this is the dual motor Model 3 extended range. But I can't comment on the extended range because the furthest he's gone is about 60 miles. Last year, and this year especially, Tesla dropped their prices a bunch because they're trying to sell the things. They realize there's only so many millionaires out there, better than during coronavirus when they were going for way over list price and used ones were going for more than new ones. Those days are long gone. You know about electric cars? Tires are expensive, they wear out faster, and check this out. Look, it's got 6,000 miles. And the tires are already worn out. The tires on a Tesla, especially a dual motor one, they are going to wear out 3 times faster than in a normal car because the giant batteries hit it under here. With the battery in a car, they weigh a lot, and there's 2 things going against the tires. One, the more a vehicle weighs, guess what? The faster the tires wear out. But number 2, being an electric car, they have phenomenal torque. Him being young and driving like a maniac, like he says, you're gonna wear the tires out faster. He just got the speed upgrade, but he had to pay for it. And a lot of people don't like that. He had to pay 2 grand so he could access what was already in the car, right? It goes much faster. It used to go 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, and now it goes 0 to 60 in 3.6. That's quite a bit faster. I mean, they're very fast cars. I just don't like the idea that he bought the car and he had to pay extra money to make it go as fast as it could go. It wasn't like, oh, well, okay, they modified the car, and if it was a gasoline engine, maybe they put a turbo on or rebuilt the engine or put bigger fuel injectors. No, it's all software. It's already in the car, and you got to pay 2 grand more to access it. And I think that stinks myself. It's a raw deal, right? Now let's look at the fit and finish. Okay? You can see it's a little wider on the bottom than at the top. It's not outrageous like some of the early ones were. See, it's thinner here, it's a little wider here. But the back one, it's pretty even. Unlike the older ones, they seem to be doing a better quality job putting them together, I'll say that. So let's take a look inside. The one thing I don't like as a mechanic is this. You go behind this panel between the back seats, you pull it off, then there's a connector there. You unplug the connector, and then even I have to have an adapter for my fancy scan tool. I have them. But then again, I'm a mechanic with a $5,000 scan tool and all the stinking adapters that come with it. But it kind of aggravates me that when I work on these things, I got to take that apart, then I got to turn the car off, then I got to let it sleep for 15 minutes, then I unplug it, then I got to plug my scan tool in, and then activate it that way. Why on earth he made them like that? It's stupid. Now, you can say, oh, it's cheapness. Well, not really. It's still got it in there, but you have to access it with an adapter. Why didn't they make them all with OBD plugs is beyond me. Well, I can tell you the truth. It's because he doesn't have to. By law, electric cars are not covered under the law that all gasoline and petroleum cars have to have OBD2 plugs. They were originally instituted for anti-pollution reasons. And since they say, well, it's an electric car, it doesn't pollute, right? I mean, you can argue that. The electricity comes from somewhere, but the car itself, yes, does not pollute. By law, they didn't have to put one in, so they did. So, I mean, we look around, the seats are nice. Here's a giant screen that does everything, right? And in front of you is nothing. Kind of looks like, though, fake wood paneling we used to have in cellars in the 1960s. So you're looking there, but all your information is over here. It's disconcerting for a lot of drivers. I do have to say, when I tested out that electric Volvo a few months ago, I really liked it because it was more like a car. And it had all the instrument panels here. It even had a cool gear shift knob that was made out of European crystal, you know? So I gotta say, for traditionalists, you just feel weird driving, looking at nothing, and then all the information is over here. Now, it doesn't obstruct your field of vision like some of the Toyota screens do that actually incurs into the glass, but at the same time, when you're looking ahead, you gotta look over here to see stuff and touch them. To me, Yeah, that's kind of counterintuitive. I don't know. And of course, it's going to have electric parking brakes because everything on this car is electric. The only thing we got here is a brake pedal and a gas pedal. And of course, it's got all the crazy link profiles and stuff you can put it in. He's using the front for his backpack. Now, not all that much space that's usable unless you happen to have something that's this bizarre shape, you know? It's only using electricity. Creating electricity, yeah, that's probably polluted it somewhere else. But the car itself isn't doing anything. You don't have to worry about it throwing anything out. The only thing that these put more pollution out is microparticles from the tires. When you drive down the road, rubber microparticles go around, and now they're finding out that a lot of these rubber microparticles, and they have plastic in them too, are one of the main contributors of water pollution. Most people never think about it, but okay, you're driving down the road. Do you ever notice how the roads are slightly graded? Sometimes you let go of your steering wheel, it'll pull to the right or the left, depending on how the drainage is. Well, all those microparticles of rubber and plastic, the rain carries them down the drain, into the river streams, and ultimately into the ocean. So they are polluting more because they got big tires that wear out faster, and all that little tiny pieces of rubber that you can't really see because they're micro, they end up in the water supply. So it's not like they're not doing anything at all. They're not doing anything to the air, but they're kind of messing with the water. Backup camera's phenomenal. Check it out. She warns you the side stuff. You hear that little whirring sound? That's the Tesla noise. By law, they have to make noise so people can hear them. Because other than that, now that we're going faster, the only thing you hear are the tires going down the road. As you can see, this has a conventional steering wheel. Nice small size, but a real wheel. It's not a yoke. Okay, now here we go to our little drag strip. We're gonna go up to the top of the hill. Then we're gonna stop, and we're gonna take off full speed. So ready? We're coming to the drag strip, we're stopping, and we'll see how fast this thing can go. Go! Whoa! Man, this thing is fast. Let me tell you, it threw me back in the seat, and it really does go. Let's say you're cruising, and then you want to pass people. Look at that. Woo! There go the ex-corn stalks. This thing can fly. There's no arguing that. And to top it off, it's fast, quiet speed. It's not making any noise. Even with these worn out tires that he bought because he liked the rim, he's going to put his other tires on when he gets a chance. And let's accelerate. Whoa! Man, this thing is like a rocket ship. There's no arguing that. It's a good thing they didn't exist when I was young, because if they did, I would no longer be here making videos for you. I would be 6 feet under from flying in the air and landing somewhere upside down. The only thing you're going to hear is the turn signal. That's it. Pilot now, not the advanced one, but I gotta say, it looks cool. Now we can see what's on the right-hand side so we don't hit anything. And it's warning there's a person next to us. When the light turns green, it's supposed to ding. It dinged. Stop sign to warn you in case you are looking at the screen and not the road. It also has a 16-speaker sound system that's killer, but I can't play anything because of copyright reasons. He's not driving cross-country and stuff, and where his girlfriend works, they have a free Tesla charger. So when she goes, she can plug it in and get it charged for free. Now when it comes to charging, if you buy a supercharger, he said pretty much around 40-45 minutes it'll fully charge the vehicle. Now if you're in a bad situation where you got to plug it into a house at 110, well, when I did that once, it estimated a little over 24 hours to charge it up. But he charges it at night, 12 hours where he is, and since he's only going 60 miles, there's no problem. He could do that indefinitely. The fit and finish is much better than the earlier ones are. Can't argue about that. He didn't like the original rims, so he got fancy rims. I agree with him. It looks a lot better with these rims. And yes, I'd be kind of pissed if I had to pay $2,000 to get more speed out of a vehicle. And it wasn't like, oh, well, you paid it and they reprogrammed it. No, it was already all there. Even the programming. He just had to pay to be able to access it. I think that's a raw deal myself, but all things considered, He paid like 45 grand for this thing. So his monthly payment is $600, you know. To me, of course, I'm a cheapskate. When I bought my house in Houston, my house that I lived in, the monthly payments were $550 for the whole house. But, and he's not living in this thing, right? But for today's economy, I see people that are paying $1,000 a month, right? And he's buying it, he's not leasing it. He's going to own the thing, so it's his. And since he's not putting all that many miles on it, hey, it might last him quite some time for his lifestyle. He's not driving it far. He's not going cross country in the thing. He's taking little trips here and there. And just like the guy that brought me the electric Chevrolet last year, he lived in Maryland, worked in Washington, D.C., and he was happy because he had plenty of charging at his townhome, go to work and back and work and back, and he had, 35,000 miles on it. It worked fine. He didn't have any problems with it. It was a lot cheaper than this thing was because it was a cheap little Chevy. But paying higher insurance rates, it's not just because he's young. These electric cars cost a fortune when they get wrecked. If you remember the video that I made last year in Rhode Island with a Model 3 that went on autopilot, hit the curb, broke the front motor, and it dented the battery. 30,000 miles on it, they totaled the car. Guess who pays for that? The insurance company. Guess what the insurance company does? It raises the rates on everyone, and especially the people that are buying electric cars. So keep that in mind. Don't just think the price. Add it all up. See, do you mind paying the extra insurance? If you own a house, townhome, whatever, and you can put a 220, generally, that's cost you a couple grand to get it hooked up. The things don't cost that much. You get a decent one like the Autel, they're like $500. They don't cost all that much, but you got to run the 220, and that's a lot of power. Don't try doing it yourself. Pay an electrician to do it. Let me tell you, you don't want to burn your house down because some fool didn't know how to wire it correctly. You add all those costs in, and if you don't mind those costs, you want a screaming car, they come down because people weren't buying them at the higher prices. That if you want to try one of these things out and you're in that kind of a limited situation, his girlfriend's got a conventional Kia gasoline, right? So they want to go to California, they can jump in that thing and drive to California in it. They don't have to worry about finding charging stations on the way, right? If you got a two-car household, that would be my advice to anybody who's thinking about buying an electric car. You got two cars, hey, you want to try an electric car? What the heck? Go out and try an electric car. And if you don't like it, you still got the other one to take big trips in. Unfortunately for the electric car companies, there's lots of guys in my position, baby boomers, post-World War II, we're downscaling things. We're going to one car, and that one car isn't going to be an electric car. It's going to be a gasoline car or a hybrid as things stand today. Got a nice minimalist look on the back with all that glass. Just don't break the glass or you'll be paying through the nose. If you do buy one, make sure you got collision, baby, because even a minor wreck on this thing can be 20-something grand if the battery gets dented. Just keep that in mind. And if you're like one of my old neighbors in Houston, bought a Model S. The original owner paid $121. He paid $45,500 and it only had 15,000 miles on it. They'll poo-poo a used one with low mileage because a lot of people don't drive these electric cars that many miles, and they still got a lot of life in them, and you can get them cheap. Just make sure you pay a guy like me to check it out before you buy it, because when I hook my machine to this thing, I get so much information. I can do all kinds of testing with it. You gotta pay a mechanic to check out an electric car unless you're out of your mind and you like rolling those dice, because eventually you're going to get snake eyes and lose if you don't have a mechanic check out an electric car before you buy. But you can get a phenomenal deal. The days of coronavirus are gone where they were going more used than new. No, the used ones, the prices have been dropping like a stone. So think about that if you can find a good low mileage one if you want to try out an electric car. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.